Choices with Jeanette. I'm Jeanette Harris, and thank you so much for watching Choices with Jeanette. You know what I need you to do? I need, if you're watching me right now, I need you to call at least 1, 2, 3 people and say, look, I found Jeanette Harris. I am running into too many of you all who are saying, I can't find you. And I'm right here. I have some of the, on HCC, I have some of the best times that you can have. I watch Steve Harvey every day at 3 o'clock. I know I turn the telephone off. And I watch Steve Harvey every day at 3 o'clock because that is the best show to watch. And then the reel is on. So if you just keep pressing that button, I'm there at 3 o'clock too. So I'm on there Mondays and Wednesdays. On Fridays and Sundays, everyone is getting ready for church. So watch me then. That's 7 o'clock in the morning. That's an excellent time. And then if you can't sleep at night on Fridays and Sundays, 11:30 p.m. Those are excellent times. They let me choose my own times at HCC. Those are excellent times. And then we're negotiating with one of the major networks. So if I go on that network, I'm gonna really need your support, okay? But if you're watching me right now, call someone and tell them I found Jeanette Harris and she has on her show again, the man is teaching us all about our car. So I have with me today SS Amir. How are you?
Thank you. I'm feeling just fine.
And so you got the service and the body shops.
Yes, sir.
And the service shop is over on Holmes Road.
Correct.
4640.
4640.
And the one on Bissonnette does the body work.
Exactly.
I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Because every time I'm driving my car, I'm like, I don't know when I'll get a new car, as long as I know SS Amir. So,
Of course.
I want people to understand more about their cars, and you're doing a great job, and I appreciate you coming back.
You're welcome.
And telling us more. Can you tell us how all of it works together under there, the motor, the alternator?
Sure. First of all, as an owner, you should know the components of an engine. How does it work? And I'll explain to you the major components of the engine so you can recognize the names and understand how they function. To start with, there's a battery. Then there's an alternator, which is also called a generator. There is a starter. And then, of course, the engine itself. So when you go to turn the key on, you're basically connecting the battery with the electrical system of the car. And then when you turn to the start position and you hear the cranking going on, the starter is then turning the engine over. They're very simple phenomena, and this is very easy to understand. The starter turns the engine, which goes into revolutions, and then it starts the car. The generator or the alternator is actually to charge the battery. It doesn't have any other function. It only recharges the battery and keeps it up to its full potential. So when people come and ask me and complain that the car doesn't start, to us, we don't know what is not happening. It has to be understood by you first as a customer, then we can further make you explain what does that mean. When you say my car doesn't start, it can mean a lot of things, and they all mean the same in the end. It doesn't start. One of them could be when you turn the ignition to start position, you don't hear a sound. Nothing happens. That is a possibility of a dead battery or just a starter going bad.
So should they go through the process of elimination?
No, they can, but also they need to understand how it functions. When you turn the key to start position, you must hear the starter cranking the engine. Cranking the engine means is the revolutions of the engine. And we have to make sounds to understand what the customers say. For example, when you start the car and it doesn't start, it goes, yeah, 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 yeah. So that means the starter is turning. This eliminates the battery, eliminates the alternator, eliminates the starter.
Okay.
None of these things could be at fault when it's doing that. That means it's not getting
It's
fuel. Yeah, the sound, because the cars start so easily, people don't differentiate between the sounds. A cranking means it should turn over the engine. It should go yeah, 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 loud. That means the starter is okay, battery is okay, alternator is okay. It's either not getting fuel or the fire, and these are two things that start the car.
fuel or fire.
Fuel or fire. There's no third thing in it. You may not have water, you may not have oil.
That is such good information.
Yes. So basically, when you come to us, you have to explain, and we have to literally duplicate the sound for you to tell me what's not happening in the morning when it doesn't start. People say my alternator's gone bad. My car is not starting. The alternator is perfectly all right. If the battery is charged up, that means alternator is doing its job.
But let me ask you this. Do women come in, we kind of go in and diagnose our car. We come in and tell you, and they say, okay, if that's what you believe, I'm going to change your alternator.
No, I don't do that. I am a technician first. I ask customers the question that need to be asked. I'm not a repair shop that just does whatever the customer wants, because they may be saying something incorrect, and I should make it happen. I should correct them and maybe do the job the way it'll solve the problem. Many times we have to go for a test drive with the customer. Many times we have to keep the car and duplicate the problem to know what's happening. Misdiagnosis is very common in our field because information is being transmitted by an owner to the service writer to the mechanic. A lot of challenges are there. So to understand this is very simple. Every customer should know the components of the engine. What is a starter? What is an alternator? What is a battery? And so they can not guess wrong. They can also eliminate the possibilities themselves. So if you come to me again asking the car is not starting or is hard to start, I need to understand what that means. And simply by asking you a few questions, I can reach to the conclusion that what is it that you're complaining about. So these are things that have to be done. As far as the engine is concerned, you don't need to understand a lot of things about the car, just the basics. What is the battery? What is the alternator? What's the starter? Where is the power steering pump? To understand how it functions. Where is the radiator? How to check the coolant? Some of these repairs some of the maintenance things that you can check on your own. It won't take more than 10 minutes in a week, in a month, to check these things out that will avoid expensive repairs on your car.
10 minutes
10
a
minutes.
week.
And 10 minutes a month even, because some new cars don't require too much. Things that you need to check, simply how to check the oil, when to check the oil, how to check the coolant, where to check the coolant, tire pressure. Basically, these are the things you have to check to keep the car on the road safely. And these things can avoid major expenses. And I've told them before, and I'll repeat again, customers who are driving the car know better about the car than the technicians know, because you can sense any different sound. You can feel every different feeling of the brakes, everything different about the functioning of the transmission. If you feel something wrong, bring it to our attention, and 9 out of 10 times, it is a minor thing. It can be solved very quickly. And we at Toyocars do this all the time. We recommend you come here between your oil changes so we can check the things you don't know how to check, and definitely can save you a lot of money in the long run.
You make it sound so simple.
It is. It is. Just the idea makes it sound like it's a big deal. It's not. It's very simple, and 10 minutes a month, 10 minutes a week, I can save you lots of money, and we can even train you to check what you need to check and how you need to keep up with the car, that you can avoid major expenses.
Excellent information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We're going to do it, aren't we? we're going to take 10 minutes a month. He's saying 10, I said 10 minutes a week. He said, no, 10 minutes a month. We're going to take that time to check our cars so we don't have to have problems later.
And if you need, every customer can come and ask me, what is it that you want me to do to keep my car up? And we can walk them through at our shop, and we do it all the time. We recommend you do these things and check on and off so you can avoid major expenses.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Although no one seems to know for sure, Early Wright just might be the first black disc jockey to work in the Mid-South, maybe even the entire South. By his account, he's been on the air about 48 years. According to WROX station logs, it's closer to 50. Either way you figure it, Early Wright has been spinning blues records in Clarksdale, Mississippi since the Great Depression.
My guest is LaQuita Carter. And she does real estate, and she does it really, really well. But she's also written a book. I'm stuck. Now what? And I have had to say that to me. I'm here, I'm in a place I didn't think this situation would go to, and I'm stuck. Now what? And her book comes out of her heart. It's a very, very well-written book. From launching to living.
Yes.
What happened?
I was one of those persons, like many of us, who find ourselves in a cycle, in a routine that at one point was fulfilling, it was sustaining, but after a while it got stale, and it didn't speak to that place that was yearning for expression.
Wow.
And I found that I started to lose my zeal in my projects, in my delivery, in the things that I developed, because truthfully, we can do stuff, and I said stuff, because sometimes we're doing things that are not in line with what we're supposed to be doing, but so I found myself doing a lot of stuff, and I pulled it off, but the reward for what I was doing was not there.
The joy.
Yes.
No more joy in it.
Fulfillment lacking.
What made you say, because you have to come to that place where you have to admit it. That's that brick wall. I'm
Oh, yeah.
here, I can't go, there's no door here, I can't go any further. So you admit it, but even after you admit it, you have to start trying to
ownership.
find a way.
Yes.
Trying to find a way.
What next?
Yeah.
What is this place?
How did you do that?
You know, we have to develop a healthy habit of self-talk. Many of us self-talk, but our dialogue is not beneficial. And so I started to self-talk about where do I want to go, and am I willing to do what it will take for me to go where I desire to be. One of the things that I had to overcome was the side voices. We are a people who like opinions. We like camaraderie. We like fellowship. We just want somebody to come and say, oh, girl, you got it. Well, that doesn't always happen. And so sometimes they come to aid you, but the voice says, are you really going to do that?
Beyond that, though, LaQuita, you have this God who's behind you and on the side of you and all-encompassing,
Absolutely.
and who's saying, I'm jealous
Yeah.
of you needing her to say
Come on. Yes,
that
absolutely.
you're doing good. When only thing that matters and is what you do for me. So He's going to get you away from all of those extremities.
Yes, he will. And when you get to that place where you start to rely on the only voice that counts, that's when you start to unravel the cobwebs. You unravel the generations of negative self-talk, you know, and just finding yourself in a complacent, non-producing place. Being busy is not fulfilling. Being all over the place doesn't really have a reward. But if I can find myself doing something that contributes to the expression on the inside of me that's dying to get out, I'll take 10 minutes of that any day.
Wow. What does that feel like?
Freedom. Gratification.
When you and I were first talking about your book, and I kept asking you, and you kept going to that same word, freedom. So tell me about the captivity. And I know we don't have that long, but tell me about that captivity, and then tell me about the freedom, so we can understand. Because sometimes people don't know that that's not normal. For people to get up every morning and argue in the house with someone, it's not normal. To go to school with a bruise on your body is not normal.
Absolutely.
So people, you got to know what freedom is to know that captivity is not normal.
No, captivity is nowhere near normal. And many of the times the barriers that we are abiding in are self-inflicted. And so I was in a self-inflicted form of bondage. I knew I had outgrown the place where I was. I had accepted that I did, but there was no action behind what I knew. And so I accepted what was comfortable and what was repetitive in exchange for what would bring me what I really wanted. And so I began to settle in a place and a pattern of being stuck. And that place is more emotional than physical. It's a place where you put yourself in the confines of can't, not ready, in a minute, one day I will, I'm working on, I'm about to.
And so I have retired here.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my God.
And I had to exchange my right to make an excuse.
And that takes courage.
It does. It does. I had a great position and had the opportunity to interface with many wonderful people and glean information that would not have come to me if that wasn't a part of the journey that I was supposed to be on. But we have to learn that we're not meant to stay in the same place all day, all the time, every day.
And things have seasons.
Absolutely. But we get comfortable. And then when comfort supersedes our voice of reason, then we get angry.
So that captivity is a place of anger.
Because now I shift from giving to want to be given to.
Wow. You got to say that again.
I shift from giving to being want to be given to. So now I was here and I was excited.
Yeah, but when you come from giving to being want to be given to, I thought that was a place because you came there because of all the years you had put in, now it's time for it to be given to me.
But see, the motive is what we need to be speaking about. Because when I become stuck, my motives change. The dynamics look the same, but my motives are not the same. Because when I have exhausted myself in a certain vein of service, your whatever you find yourself to do, that you have now you're outdated. It's like going to get that stale bread. The stale bread only works for a couple of dishes, right? Other than that, we don't keep it on the shelf. And so I had gotten to the place where now my motive was different. Yes, my desire to do the same vein was there, but my motive had changed. So now I was waiting for things to pay me back.
This book, after I looked at this book, and I asked you this question, I said, you sure this book not supposed to be in corporate America?
Absolutely.
You remember me asking that?
Oh, yeah.
Because this, but it also can be some other places as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's applicable in every vein, every arena. This book talks about being misaligned. Sometimes we have to pay attention to a person's natural abilities and a person's ability to be trained. We all come in the door with a skill set, but I was guilty of it, you know, in the market where I would keep a person in a certain place because they were good there, but they weren't growing there. And I did a disservice to them. And so what ended up happening was now the people who realized that I had given them all this great stuff and they'd grown and they expanded, somebody else wanted them. But what I could have done was see that everything that was put before them, they've now gleaned, now put them in another place to be added to. But I kept them in the place. And so I've not only been in that place, I've contributed to the place of stuck for other people because their purpose served me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, you're a big girl.
Yeah.
It takes a big girl to say that.
Yes.
It takes a big girl to say that.
Yes. When you walk out launching is the decision. I choose to go forward from this place. But living is the everyday action that you will have to talk yourself into every day. You have to talk yourself into the place called promise. You have to talk yourself into the place that looks like prosperity for you. You have to talk yourself into the place that looks like the place that's your new resting place, the place where you're supposed to be for this hour.
This season.
Yeah. And so when you allow yourself to continue to self-talk excuses, what a great disservice. The psychological and emotional results of stuck are not anything that we want to deal with, we want to hold on to, we want to make a bed for, we want to feed or nurture. Because we find ourselves, let me just talk about me. When it was time for me to accept the new assignment, you've gotten this information, you've learned from this place, now go and teach it to someone else. But once they learn it, take them to the next leg of the journey. I had to accept in me that there was a continual path.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
It's a scripture that says, when you should have become a teacher, you're having need of them to teach you. You're still there when you should have been growing. He never intended for us to stop growing. So if a person is not growing, could that be a sign of being stuck?
Absolutely. But some things are a choice. And so in the beginning of the book, when I talk about making the decision, one of the first things I talk about is choosing to hear your voice over theirs. Because many times when I get to that bitter place, we all heard it said once too many times, misery loves company, right? So we're going to congregate with people that are in the same fashion as us. And so when you make the decision to separate yourself from that way of life, it's lonely.
It's very
for a
lonely.
season.
It's
Yeah.
very lonely.
Yeah. And so you have to be
The grown woman instead of the big girl.
there you go. You really have to start having a presence all your own.
And that's where he doesn't have to be jealous of you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be living?
It feels wonderful. It's a great day when tears of sorrow can turn into tears of joy. It's a day worth living when you can see your thought become a tangible presence. It's the best day when you realize you started out, you accepted the challenge, and you haven't gone on the other side. You're still in it.
Still in the game.
Still in it. And you're helping others. Yeah,
Yeah. I know you do speaking engagements,
absolutely.
things like that.
Yes.
When is your next one?
So we just finished our cupcake social. It was phenomenal. We had a room full of entrepreneurs, teachers, CFOs, CEOs, mothers. But everyone came to the table to talk about their inner desire to launch. So part 2 of that will be coming in July. We also have an Entrepreneurs Expo coming up. And so we'll get you the details on that soon. I believe I have an opportunity to create open doors for the voices that are emerging.
Wow. What makes your book so powerful?
It's truth. It's spoken from the voice that sounds like you, that you won't let come outside.
But that's what I was about to say. Mm-hmm. Because most people won't tell the truth. And for some reason, you felt bold enough to tell the truth. So what do I have to lose?
Absolutely. Do I want to continue to listen to the voice that's kept me stuck? Or do I want to cut the light on, roll up the curtain, let the sun shine in on the true essence of LaQuita? Still living to tell about it. It was worth writing about.
But it's very well written,
Thank you. Thank you.
and it's truthful.
Yes. What's in this book is a resource for everyone who reads it. It's something that you will read, pick up, put down. You will have a thought one day and you'll say to yourself, where did this come from? And you'll remember, I read that. I'm at this place because I talk about it. I talk about listening to the trend. I talk about creating your own trend. But I also talk about dealing with your self-inflicted wounds so that when doors open, lights come on, and cameras are rolling, you're comfortable in that place. And you know that you belong there.
Wow. I'm stuck. Now what? The road from launching to living.
Yes.
Find out if you're stuck. Where can they get the book?
So any of your online book retailers, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, you can also go to www.LaQuitaCarterBook.com. You can get it in all versions and formats. So